It was supposed to be just another tournament, another day of junior golf where a few talented teenagers tried to make a name for themselves. But what happened this morning will be remembered for years, not because a new star emerged, but because a legend's son finally stepped out of his father's shadow. Charlie Woods arrived quietly, head down, eyes focused. Reporters barely noticed him. They were more interested in other young players, the favorites, the champions, the names already ranked in the top 10. Charlie wasn't one of them. He wasn't even in the top 20. But what he carried was something numbers couldn't measure: the weight of being Tiger Woods' son. The pressure on him was impossible to describe. Every swing compared to Tiger, every mistake magnified. Every smile analyzed by people who believed he was just getting attention because of his last name. For months, critics said he'd never live up to his father's greatness, that he was only where he was because of Tiger's fame. But on this day, Charlie decided to answer every doubt. Not with words, not with attitude, but with his game. The first few holes went exactly how nobody expected. Calm, steady, and confident. Birdie on the first. Another on the third. By the fifth, whispers started spreading across the gallery. Something was different about him today. His posture, his focus, the way he walked. He wasn't playing safe. He was playing fearless. Back home, Tiger watched the live stream on his television, recovering from another surgery, unable to be there in person. He had seen greatness many times before, but this felt different. It wasn't the swing of a boy copying his father. It was the rhythm of a young man creating his own name. By the time Charlie reached the seventh hole, he was already 4 under par. The crowd around the green had tripled in size. Cameras shifted away from the favorites to focus on him. Every shot he took seemed smoother than the last. Every putt looked automatic. Then came the moment that changed everything. Hole 8. A short par 4 that most players approached with caution. Everyone before him had played it safe, choosing to lay up with an iron and go for the green in 2 shots. But Charlie didn't even hesitate. He pulled out his driver. The crowd went silent. Even the commentators couldn't believe what they were seeing. His caddy said something under his breath, trying to warn him. But Charlie's eyes didn't move. He lined up the shot, exhaled slowly, and swung. The sound of the contact echoed through the trees. The ball lifted, rising higher than anyone expected, flying straight toward the green. It landed once, bounced, and started rolling. The crowd gasped as it kept moving closer. Closer. Until it stopped less than a foot from the hole. An eagle putt from the tee box. Nobody had ever done that before on that hole. Not in this tournament. Not in any junior event played there. Charlie walked up calmly, tapped it in, and smiled. Not a smile of surprise, but of satisfaction. As if he already knew this would happen. That single swing turned the entire course upside down. The gallery erupted. Phones went up, cameras flashed, and social media exploded with the replay of what they just witnessed. Within minutes, clips of that drive started flooding Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Golf Digest posted it with one line: like father, like son, but maybe better. The comment section went wild. Some fans called it destiny. Others said this was the start of a new era. But far away, sitting on his couch, Tiger Woods didn't say a word. He simply leaned forward, eyes locked on the screen. The man who had faced the world's toughest stages looked genuinely stunned. For the first time, he wasn't watching his son trying to follow him. He was watching his son surpass expectations he himself once set. Charlie wasn't done yet. The next hole, he played a simple par. No celebration, no arrogance, just calm precision. The energy around him changed completely. Everyone watching could feel it. Something special was happening. By the end of that front 9, Charlie was 5 under par. From being ignored at the start of the round, he was now the center of attention. The crowd followed him hole to hole, whispering about that unbelievable shot on 8. But what nobody knew was that the real story hadn't even begun yet. What happened in the final holes would not only leave fans speechless, it would leave Tiger Woods himself unable to hold back tears. And that was only the beginning. The roar of the crowd still echoed across the golf course as Charlie stood quietly, his club resting beside him. The world had just witnessed something extraordinary, a shot that seemed impossible for anyone his age. But for Charlie, it was more than just a moment of brilliance. It was the result of years spent in silence, discipline, and dedication under the watchful eyes of his father, the legendary Tiger Woods. Tiger stood a few feet away, still trying to process what had just happened. His expression said everything: pride, disbelief, and emotion all mixed into one. For a man who had seen everything in golf, this was new. This was his son rewriting the story he once wrote. People around the green began whispering. Journalists, fans, even veteran golfers watching live couldn't believe it. Many had doubted Charlie, calling him just Tiger's kid, saying he would never match the legacy. But that moment silenced every critic. Tiger slowly walked toward his son, the cameras flashing around them. He didn't say a word. He didn't need to. A slight smile appeared on his face as he placed his hand on Charlie's shoulder. That small gesture carried years of unspoken emotion. It was pride without words. Social media exploded instantly. Golf fans from around the world began posting clips of the shot. Within minutes, hashtags like "Nonch Charlie Woods Magic" and "Duck Tiger Speechless" were trending across every platform. Some claimed it was one of the greatest moments in modern golf. Others said it was the beginning of a new era, the rise of Charlie Woods. In the press room, reporters were scrambling to get Tiger's first reaction. But Tiger stayed quiet. He simply said, "You all saw it. That's my boy." And with that single line, he left the room, refusing to take any more questions. Meanwhile, Charlie sat alone for a few minutes, replaying everything in his head. He wasn't thinking about fame, headlines, or legacy. For him, it was just about proving something to himself. That he belonged. That he could carry the Woods name with pride, not pressure. Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Tiger and Charlie were seen practicing again on the quiet side of the course. No cameras, no noise, just father and son. Tiger corrected Charlie's grip, gave him a nod, and stepped back. Charlie swung. Perfectly again. Tiger laughed softly and said, "You've got it now." That line wasn't just about the swing. It was about the moment. Charlie had finally stepped out of his father's shadow and into his own light. But what no one knew then was that this was just the beginning. The next day, something even more unbelievable would happen. Something that would make the entire sports world stop and realize that Charlie Woods wasn't just a name. He was the future.